Good morning, folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. I am your host, Kevin. Behind me, as usual, we have the beautiful wagon wheel, and hopefully up here, still a little wisdom. As you notice, I'm wearing a stocking cap this morning. It is roughly, I think, about 4:15 right now. I got up around 3:30. The full moon is in full view right out the window here, but I went outside and sat listening to a morning prayer. Which has been a new process for me, actually. I grew up Catholic and kind of shut that out of my life after age 18, and have recently reintroduced just listening to morning prayers on YouTube, and it's kind of it's helped me out each day a little bit, getting into a good mindset, letting go of things. So, and again, as I stated last night in my full moon video, it is about letting go. So I went outside this morning and sat for, I would say 25 minutes in the full moonlight. It's a beautiful clear sky and 48 degrees this morning, so I could see my breath outside, which is why I still have this on in a hooded sweatshirt. Just going to do a little recap for new viewers out there about what this twin flame journey is, and most importantly, what it has been for me. I met my twin about exactly a year ago, last August, and we were together for around 9 months. Had a great, amazing 9 months, and recently, about 4 months ago, she up and decided that we weren't going to be together anymore, and has since blocked me, and here we are. I started diving into the twin flame community a little bit, but the one thing I noticed is that there wasn't many men talking about being the divine feminine. And at first, when I heard that, I was a little reluctant, with the whole identifying as, but I've gotten to the point where this stuff is all too real for me to not really embrace it. And so I've fully embraced it and have absolutely no problem saying it. I am an incredibly masculine male as it is, but with the energy that we're talking about, with the runner-chaser dynamic, and what the twin flame is one soul split into two. We have the runner and we have the chaser. The runner is 99.9% of the time the divine masculine, and the chaser is the divine feminine, which, again, as I said, is me. So during the split, I think one of the hardest parts, probably the hardest part actually, was going through what is referred to as the dark night of the soul. Now, I don't typically like to give labels to things, but again, I don't know how to describe it other than on an emotional level, seriously one of the, if not the hardest things I have ever gone through in a breakup in my life. And I would like to not look at it necessarily as a breakup, but a breakdown of the old me, and ushering in this completely new version of me, which is the rewarding side once you get on the other side of this dark night of the soul journey. While you're going through this process, you guys, if you're new into this, it is an emotional roller coaster unlike anything I've ever felt. The crying, the anger, the not understanding why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and how that energy just hits you in wave after wave after wave to have you literally feel like you're drowning inside of yourself. And it is a very real thing that you are going through. I began to discover that it is completely broken down belief systems, how I view the world, how I view friendships, how I view people, and most importantly, and this is the entire goal, I do believe, is how you view yourself. I used to be a person that would always be thinking about what I could have been doing different in the past. Since I've embraced journaling now, meditation, all of these new practices, I am so present. When I was sitting outside just this morning, looking up at the full moon, I felt like I shouldn't be any other place, sitting out on my front step, wondering what I should be doing, meditating on this next video that I'm putting out right now, not thinking about my ex, which has been a glorious shift, because for the first good 3 months, it was nonstop of her name just going through my head, me replaying every aspect of the breakup, what I could have said differently, regretting what I did say. But the biggest part about this, you guys, I think, at least for me, has been forgiving myself and just sitting with this and understanding that, you know what, this is a process. We're all going through it. We all have regrets of things we wish we could have done different. We wish that we could hold and touch our ex, but I just want to say that they gave you this gift of this breakup to learn about you, and you needed to learn about you. I needed to learn about me, and I know that how I'm going through this isn't going to be any different than how you're going through this. So be very compassionate, very delicate with yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself, because this is all part of it. And you're giving them a great gift as well, and that is the gift of distance, because they too, your divine masculine, also has to go through this journey as well. And in order for us to reunite, we need to be at a balanced energy that has been undiscovered within ourselves. And I understand people, you might be sitting back like, wow, when does this end? I don't know. I just know that we have to put in the work, and it is a lot of work. It's frustrating work at times, but the reward at the end, you guys, is a better sense of self. And I just have to stress, and I'm going to say this very direct, this is not about your ex. This is about you. The divine feminine leads this. This is the aspect of, call it the relationship of the divine, that we get to control this part of it. But we have to take care of us first, and that is the important thing. And you'll get to a point, and I feel myself even starting to kind of ease into this, where you're not thinking about them. You are 100% concentrating on you. You're present. You begin to view life very differently. I am looking at life in a way that I have never seen it before. Hang on a second, I've got a plane going overhead. I've began to embrace things that I never really thought that I would do before, and how I view the world is changing, how I view people is changing, how I view relationships, and you can see me kind of smiling. I went on a hike yesterday, and I hugged a tree. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but it was the coolest feeling. The energy was absolutely amazing. Just reaching down to grab my coffee. But things really change, and you begin to realize how hard you embrace the old story and the old timelines. The other things I've come into question with is, how I view what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I used to be of the mindset, the 9-to-5 corporate America. I used to be part of that world, and I never really felt like I fit in. Like it always felt wrong to me. I shouldn't say wrong, but I had this uncomfortable feeling that this wasn't for me. There's a greater purpose out there for me. And right now, sitting in front of this camera, and I've said this many times before, I never saw myself doing this. I never really had the courage to do it, but it feels absolutely right. There is no place I would rather be than talking to all of you out there who are going through this process as well. And I want to be there for you guys on this journey. I too watch other videos to help learn about this, to help kind of coach my mind and get it right. So, we're all in this together. So one thing that I wanted to really stress on, and it was because of a comment that I had in my in the comments feed on one of the videos, and somebody had asked, do I believe in this journey? And it really, at the moment, it kind of caught me at a place where, it's like, well, man, do I, or is this just all fantasy thinking? Had I not been in the position that I am now to honestly say this, I completely believe in this. As I've said in other videos, the amount of, and I'm going to label it coincidences that have happened, there's way too many of them for this to not be real. The amount of angel numbers that I have seen, the 111s, the 222s. I look at the clock, it's 444 or 1111 or 1010. In those moments when I'm seeing those numbers, I have a thought that is running through my head, and what I'll do is I'll go reference those numbers, and they're spot on. They are spot on. It's like we've got this coaching team all around us, surrounding us at a moment's notice, to let us know at the end that it's going to be okay. You are on the correct path. You are putting in the work. You are on a journey here. This journey is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. And that is the point of it, because it's here to dissolve all of your old beliefs, to break them down so we become better people. Now, Kevin, why do we need to become better people? I don't know if you've noticed how the world operates right now and how people operate right now, but we live in a time when I think fear is at an all-time high. You see it on people's faces. I feel the energy around it. I go out and people just look exhausted to me. They look worn down, beat down, people kind of freaking out. I know the news typically likes to amplify how bad things are, but you know what? Things are pretty bad. Things are a little rough. People arguing online, people fighting. It's why I don't do social media. I used to be on it, but I really stay away from it because of just the negativity that is really out there. And I firmly believe that this journey is for all of us to bring into the world a brand new viewpoint. There is an army building of people like us. I'm having conversations with people, and I'm gravitating towards people that really believe in, not necessarily in the twin flame environment or what we're going through, but that things need to be different and things need to change. But in order for our world to change, we have to change first. We have to be the leaders. And in a way, whether we want to or not, that I believe this journey is about that too. Again, it isn't about our ex. That's where our focus really needs to shift away from it. It took me a while to understand that. This is not about them. This is about you. It's all about you. It's about me. And I believe that in the most non-narcissistic way humanly possible. It really is, though. It leads me to that quote of, if you want the world around you to change yourself first. It's kind of that simple, but I realize that from an emotional perspective right now, some of you are just beat down. And again, this is somebody that is identifying in the divine feminine realm at this point, and I'm conveying this, and it's not to say that I don't include females on this. I hope you're all listening to this as well, but this is a man talking to other men out there that are going through this. It's rough. You know, I don't know how the female energies think and feel during this. I just know how I feel as a man, and because I'm a problem solver, this breakup was a huge problem for me that I could not solve. Until I begin to realize and shift the focus that, you know what, it's not about them. I had to work very hard to block her out of my mind. And it's not to say that I don't still think of her and miss her. Of course I do. That's all natural and part of this. But I am focusing so hard on my journey in this that the presence that I have now is the thoughts of her are less and less. I accept that we are energetic beings that were one soul and split apart. And something cool that I have been reading about twin flames, and again, I can't prove this, you guys, it's just a belief that feels naturally right for some reason. But in past lives, one soul would incarnate in while the other would be the observer, almost be like your angelic being that would be here to help, that we were not on the same earth at the same time. This is different. This time we are both down here to help out the consciousness of the world and of the people. We are here to unite and bring everybody together. And just from the viewership of my videos, people are really coming together and resonating with this. And it really sounds like people are in need. So It reaffirms my beliefs with this, even when I was resistant to it at first. So I am fully on board. And I don't want to use this word because I know you guys you're struggling out there too, just like I am. But so far, it has become a fun journey, and more importantly, learning about it and accepting it for what it is. And this last point that I would like to bring up, I find to be vitally important. We as the Divine Feminines, as I said, are leading this charge. And many of you are probably like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell my ex. Don't. Give them the distance. Let them have the break. They need to figure this journey out on their own, so when we come back, we are completely balanced. That's the point. Do not tell them. Do not share this with them. I don't think. Something tells me they're not in a position to understand it on the level that we are. The Divine Feminine operates a little bit different. I, prior to meeting her, was already a spiritual person. I had belief systems that were far different than hers. I married a Native American woman in 2006, and I learned about the Native American culture through her. And it was vastly different than my Catholic upbringing, vastly different. And the weird part is that I never resonated with the Catholic upbringing. I completely resonated with how they view call it the spiritual realm. And that spiritual realm, you guys, isn't, to me, much different than how the twin flame souls operate. We come from the cosmos. They believe that as well. We are not here to live one life. We are here to live many lives. That echoes with the Native American belief system as well. And so, again, there's no coincidences, I don't think. It's really helped shape me into the individual I am, and more importantly, the belief systems that I have inside of me. And it is why this journey has felt so natural, and why, to the point of that person, that comment, I do believe in this. I really do. Something about it just feels, even though it's hard as heck, what we are going through, it feels completely natural. And I don't know, some people go through this where they have that looping where they're in this state of resistance to it for many years before they finally accept it. We've been broken up for 4 months, and I would say it's really helped me accept it for what it is and get to the point of in this journey where I am at. So if I could make a recommendation, you do you at the end of the day, but I would say no, do not mention this to them. They'll get to it. They'll get to a point where they can no longer look away from it and begin to look at it from a different angle. It is the deaths of our egos going through this dark night of the soul, both of us, both my divine counterpart and myself, but it needs to happen in divine timing for them on their own. And as they gave you this gift, and I know you probably don't like hearing that, they gave you the gift of the breakup. Take that gift, but give them the gift of distance if they are asking for it. And in my case, I'm blocked. I have to honor that. She's going to go through her own journey. I have to go through my own journey, and our paths will cross again. And I'm holding out. Not holding out, I shouldn't say that. I am going through this journey, not with that expectation that we're going to meet again. It's just this inner knowing. I don't look at it from a point of view out of my ego. We shared some incredible times together, and this is the last thing I'll bring up before I end this video. One of the other reasons that I deeply believe in this is, as I said, I've been married and I've been in other relationships. I have never felt anything in my life quite close to the things I felt when we were together, or when we were intimate, or when we were just laying next to each other. I could touch and caress her for 24 hours if I needed to. And I always would make some comments to her that when we were intimate, it never felt like sex. It felt like I was making love to her soul. There was something about it that was just, there was just beauty to it. And I remember saying another thing, that I would get these little heart flutters. They call them heart palpitations, but I don't know, whatever. That's the medical community needs to label something. It doesn't, I don't feel like I'm having a heart attack or anything like that, but it's like my heart would just like jump and pulse. And I looked at her and I said, my heart is singing right now. And these are things I've never said to anybody. And now I'm saying it to the entire world, but it was just different. It was magnetic and it was beautiful. I am getting a little emotional just thinking about it, but that's again why this all feels very different and natural and why I completely believe in it. So again, this is Kevin. Got the wagon wheel of wisdom behind me. I'm going to finish my coffee in the wee hours and get this video uploaded for you guys. And on this full moon, man, it's a beautiful thing today. So I'm excited. I love you guys. Take care.